spreads.
Hello again, everyone. This is Ken Kibler, Director of Client Profitability with eTruckbiz. We're about a minute shy of the top of the hour. The attendee list is climbing rapidly. So if everybody can sit tight, and then we'll get going with this week's weekly presentation. Thank you very much. Hello again, everyone. This is Ken Kibler, Director of Client Profitability for eTruckbiz. I want to thank you for joining us today as we continue our weekly presentations on webinar series this year. Today, we've got some forward-looking things, what we're seeing from FedEx, as well as some technology that we'll be offering to help you through this process. Looks like our attendee list has leveled off. So with that, we will take questions at the end. If you can put them either in the chat or the Q&A, it tends to help everything flow more smoothly. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff Walzak. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ken. As always, eTruckbiz not endorsed, sponsored, or approved, or otherwise affiliated with FedEx Ground. So if we look at the volume trends, okay, volume trends for last couple days here, hang on. Why does that happen? It's broke. So obviously the weather across the country has affected the volume everywhere. The question is how much? So if you look at the first 3 weeks of this year, that's not good. So there has been a drastic drop off, not only holidays happen in weather. So most of you are seeing some lighter volume. However, it seems like it's coming back a little bit. So you look at all these different things. Maybe at the end here, but I guess today we got some weather out there, different places. So we'll see what happens. Look over on the delivery side, same thing. A little smoother, but still we need some volume, right? So look out, watch your we want to make sure everybody's watching their revenue per stop on days like this. This is where you say, well, we have weather exemptions, all these things going on, but just watch it. This is when it can cost you a lot to operate when you do operate. So be careful out there. Okay. So here we go. We're into 2024 now, and something's about to happen. We've been talking about it a long time. But Network 2.0, we're right on the doorstep of it. Some of you are already in there doing it, but here we go. It's about to really take hold here. So as Network 2.0 starts to get fired up here, in FedEx land. The first thing up is, and those of you who know me know that this is going to hurt as I put this screen up here, but Bo Schembechler,
Harvard and Bow?
what does he have to do with all this? No man is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. The team, the team, the team. If we think that way, all of us, everything that you do, you take into consideration what effect does it have on my team. So what's going on? On June 1st, all the FedEx operating units will be merged into what they want to call one FedEx. So that's about to happen, folks. And at which point, when that does happen, everything, and it will all be about the brand, the brand, the brand. The most valuable thing FedEx owns, not the hub network, not anything else out there, it's the brand. They will do anything to protect the brand. Most of you know FedEx, the brand was put together and built on, some of you are old enough to remember this, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That's how they built the brand, right? Getting stuff overnight. Nobody else was doing it at that time. But now it's going to be about when it absolutely positively has to be there on time. Not necessarily overnight, but on time. So they're going to get crazy about a few things. And primarily, and some of you have had meetings already that where they're telling you this, but they're about to get crazy over, as we just said, the brand and image, right? It's the first thing that's going to happen here. At the heart of the brand is what? Service, right? Have to provide the service. Can't have the brand without the service backing the brand up, or eventually you'll lose the power of the brand. If FedEx says, yeah, we'll get something to you by 10:30, we'll get it there by noon, we'll get it there by 8 o'clock next day, if it's a residential, whatever it is, they're gonna have to back it up with service, right? So who provides customer-facing service? CSPs and their drivers. So in fact, in support of the brand and a bunch of other things that they're about to do, it's so important that in order to raise urgency and awareness for drivers to get on the program, they're now airing a set of commercials. I don't know if any of you have seen this yet. If you haven't, just it's all over the place right now. But they're promoting the driver as a hero campaign. If you see this, you know, I don't want to say it like this, but I'm going to say it. Since we're all friends here, they're going past the contractor right to the driver saying, look, you can do this. You can be a hero. And then these stories are pretty good. It's a pretty good ad campaign, right? So that's out there right now. So now, as we know, time definite deliveries also take careful planning and execution, right? So it's drivers, CSPs have to be aware, drivers have to be aware, but there's even more than that to get these things, to get 10:30s, 8 o'clocks, noons, 2 o'clocks done. It's only possible with the help of the correct tools to make support of the brand happen. So you can tell the drivers, hey, go out there and make sure you got to get all these things done by 10:30. Well, okay. But you can still affect what's going on out there, even past them being dispatched. right? There's something called accountability. Well, we have a application that's been developed in conjunction with FedEx for 9 months plus now. Ken's gonna show us the latest version of what we call the Optics app here. This is gonna be your tool to help you out here. So let me see if I can get it over to Ken. We can see your screen, I
Yeah.
think.
That's what I forgot.
Maybe not.
There we go. Rookie mistake here. All right, so now everybody can see this is the screen now when you log into your Optics app. You can see it's got a dispatch screen, time commitment screens, admin, preload. This is the newest edition, and the financials. So, of course, if I'm going to start my day or my BC is going to start the day, what I'm going to go to is my preload. So, gave you a tool here where you can see the total delivered stops, your time definite stops. What's even more important, how many 1030 stops do you have? Now, this is a little quirky right now. This is something that we just put in. So the user interface will look different, but now I know how many time definites I have on each route, how many pickup stops. Also, you'll be able to put in your min max here. So for you old timers, what used to happen in the morning on the preload, the preload coordinator would walk down the belt when they had 50% unloaded. They'd take the stop counts and then they take it at 85%, then at 100%. They wanted to make sure that they were dispatching the delivered stops within the min max range that the driver could handle. And this min max range is normally based off of, in the UPS world, it's based off of 8 hours to 8.5 to 9.5 hours on the road. Uh, the way FedEx is measuring your on-road hours are a little bit different. We're going to automate this and make it between 7 and 8 hours on the road. So we can automate this for you, but you could also put your own in there if you wanted to adjust them. But each work area should have a min max set up. So your BC in the morning, as the preload's going on, they can take a look at this and it builds the entire preload. And of course, one thing you're keeping an eye on, how many time definites does each driver have? Because if I'm dispatching at say 9:30 and I've got 10:30s and my driver normally only does 10 stops per hour, I'm probably in trouble on at least two of those stops. Okay, so this is what you can now see on your preload view. So the minute the preload starts, you can log in and you can see this. So it should help you manage your time definites and balance the dispatch as well too. Jeff,
Oh,
anything you want to add to this?
yeah. So you can, there's the refresh button up there on the upper right-hand side, the little arrows. So if you want, you could log into this at say 6 o'clock in the morning if you want, who knows, whatever time makes sense for you. Then refresh at 6:15, refresh at 6:30, and you can watch it as the preload's happening. You can see how many stops are going on to each work area.
Yep. So I'm going to go now to the time commitments. And you can see by work area, and they're in order, 10:30 a.m.s. Once you get within a half hour of the 10:30, like at 10 o'clock, this thing's going to start to flash that these should be delivered. I purposely didn't update this one just for this reason, because I wanted to make sure that I showed that. Okay. So what do you do? And we had a customer tell us, last week, in the building that he's running, the express service is terrible. Well, this contractor hit 100% by using this app, because what did he do? When it was getting within 20 minutes of a stop, his driver would call, he would have his manager call that driver, say, hey, how close are you going to get this delivered? Boom, he did. The other contractors in the building are not using the tool. Consequently, the best performance was 90%. So, so we know it can be effective and it can be managed. You start on the preload, and then of course you're going to track your time definites when they're on the road, your time commitments. Here's your dispatch. It's again, here's how many you had urgent at that time. This was really early in the morning, but I can see a little bit my historical data, how many stops per driver day. And if I come down here and hit the daily service, it kind of reverts back to a little bit of the dispatch screen, except now that they're on the road, you would see the driver here, how many delivery stops they've done. Basically, you get a status update of the driver as the time keeps going. And like I said, I could update this. It's going to take about, with 90 something routes built on this one, it would take about a minute to update it. So I'm not going to update it right now, but it would be able to update and you can follow it all day long. Say, well, I have multiple CSAs. Okay. We could switch to the CSAs right there. You could see what's going on. And what's great now, I can see how long a driver's been on the road. Here's the nice status update right here. Boom. Here's their time definites that are in the circle, the right there. So I can track everything that I need to know about my operation. When pickups are due, all of that. The other things across here is just the admin. Like I said, the preload. I think this dispatch one is absolutely the most important. And once they're on the road, this daily service, what's happening with every single driver. Jeff, anything you want to add?
No, but just know you're gonna need to, they're about to get crazy about service again. I mean, not that they ever not been crazy about service, but it's about to become front, center, and the be all end all.
Yeah,
And you're
I can tell you they're definitely getting serious. That store I told you about where our customer achieved 90 uh 100% on time service, that's at a building that's not real far from the headquarters. It's not in Memphis, but it's pretty close. So this building here is pretty close to the ground headquarters. Not exactly in Pittsburgh, but pretty close. So uh, we're looking at it. And like I said, if I wanted to drill down on this route, once again, I can see the driver status 29 of 147 stops. I can see where the driver is. I can see all of my time definites right there. So all of this comes in. It does nothing but help me. If I just wanted to see the time definites on this route, I can see that as well. I need to see the pickups. I can see the pickups. Bob, do you have anything to add on utilizing this tool?
I would go to where the 1030s and the 12s where you can separate those out by themselves along by CSA. That's the most important part right there for you and your BCs.
Yeah. So here's the time definites on this CSA for 1030. I want to go back if I want to see the noon ones right there. This terminal is under a weather exemption today. A lot of snow and ice in the area. I want to switch to the other CSA, I can do that. There's the noon ones. 1030s. And if I wanted to even go even further, see my 1700s, I got all those. And you can see these aren't flashing because we're not within a half an hour. Okay.
Okay, and it's my understanding that there's quite a bit of express in the ground network right now. And even if you don't have, if your terminal is not on the time definite program yet, you can go in here and see, you should be able to see some time definites, even though your terminal doesn't have them yet. You're not supposed to
Absolutely,
have them.
because yeah, chances are you do have day definites in there, the 1700s and the 8 PMs. So if you are a subscriber to eTruckbiz, I encourage you to download the app. Yours is going to look a little bit different than this, but not significantly. Hopefully, as we continue to beta test this one, normally we're turning these things out very quickly. You can still track these time commitments. And like I said, what you want to do is go to your 1700s. You will definitely be able to see that you know how many 1700s you have, because you will have them on there. They want to move as much out of the air network into the ground network as quickly as possible. And as Jeff said right at the beginning of this, June 1st, 2024, it's one FedEx. So the acceleration of Network 2.0 is going to hit the superhighway. So, like I said, and having tools to manage it is absolutely critical. The money that is at risk for your 1030 and your noon can be significant, but you don't get that money if you don't provide the service. And so it's absolutely critical that you know how you're doing with that level of service every day and that you're taking steps to make those corrections. Okay. So once again, this is a new look. This guy still has 3 1030s in this CSA that are due. If I wanted to see that's new, I switched something there. I can look at all the stops that are done as well too. I just got to find that button, and I apologize. So, okay. So once again, see, this terminal is under a weather exemption, so not looking at a great day, but you could still see how important it is to track those and what you've got left, which ones are, like I said, 3 that were due at 1030, but are exempt today. And these are still all due at noon. And this will update as the day goes along. Jeff, anything else to add?
No, sure. Let's see if we have any questions.
Yep. So it doesn't look like we have any questions right now. This is another new look. I just saw this, Jeff. 11/10 for this CSA, you had 11 1030s, 16 noons, 9, and 29. So you can see by each CSA as a summary what you have. So that's also a new look too. Okay. And I hope that number's not accurate. Yikes. So.
Hey,
Do we
and the
have any
same
questions?
look on their phone. Driver's got the same look.
Yes, yeah, because like when I click down here into the time definites, the drivers also can see when they have the 1030 stops due and the noon stops as well. And it will also begin to flash that it's due. I know on the scanners, it'll list it, but this is going to flash that those 1030s are due once you get within 30 minutes. The noons are due once you get within 30 minutes as well. And this would be the look that the driver is going to get.
Okay, I think the big thing here is even though you may or may not think so, the way your business, your operation runs is way different. When you have time definites, it's not just load them up and hope they get them done. And I mean, we've said it for forever, but it's going to be different. And it's not just, it doesn't end here with getting these stops done by their due time, their time that they're due. That's one thing, but you also have to watch how much it costs you to do that. It doesn't make sense to just throw a whole bunch of resources at this problem and okay, you got your service, but then what did it cost to get that service? So there's kind of a trick to that too. So there's a lot of things that are about to change for most of you on this call very quickly. Just wanted to make sure that that's the reason we're going through this.
So that's why we've kept this on here, your stops per dispatch. And then you can see up here in the financials, you can see what your revenue is today. And if you have your wages loaded in, your wages as a percentage of revenue. And I'm glad I ate lunch already. So, because if this is actual for today, yikes. As Jeff said, things change. Watch your expenses. Weather changes, volumes down. Watch your expenses. Because if this is the case, and we've dispatched at 47 stops per driver day today, oh boy. Okay. So, oh, we've got a question. Outstanding. How much of an efficiency hit are the 100% contractors seeing stops per hour have to be down? They are seeing absolutely some, and how it is being managed. You know, we need a little more data, I guess, because this station started in November. So they kind of went right into peak. So did the productivity stay the same because you have increased density? Maybe, especially because we know that the express volume added 20% more stops to the CSA. So the CSA got increased density by 20%. So it's a little bit hard to say, but yeah, we think the stops per hour drop maybe a stop and a half per hour. But once again, the data was from comparing peak to October, where and then in peak, you got 20% more volume. So it's kind of a tough comparison. It's got to be one of those that you know your numbers before you had the time definites and after the time definites, because FedEx does supposedly want to listen. And this station has submitted some documentation up to corporate to show that it is costing their contractors more per dispatch. And, what I saw initially, but it was very early on, the CSP went from about 141 stops per dispatch down to 129. So it is as an impact. So did the bonus money make up for that on revenue? Not quite. So it's critical that you have data now and you have data afterwards. Okay. Next one. Hi, I sat through my weekly AO meeting this morning and senior management walked us through the 15 new agreement changes coming in 2024 when respective agreements end. 3 to 4 applied to network 2.0. This is 6/1/24 deadline. This 6/1/24 deadline is official, question mark. Are we held to the same standards? Can you please also explain how our schedule CS settlements are affected? Jeff, you want that one?
Not sure I know what all that is.
The 6/1/24 is just really the the drive to get to the mission for the one FedEx, one truck, one neighborhood per se. Will they have everybody switched all the express over 100% by then? Absolutely not, just because they have to phase it in. And and some of these startups have not gone very well. So what are we seeing, Jeff? Probably the next migration over will be at the end of March.
Yeah, it was supposed to be at the end of January, but they pushed it back a little bit. And I don't know why, but yeah. But when they do open up the spigot, it's going to be pretty big. A lot of folks are going to be included in the next wave. We actually do see those waves when before you know it, or before they tell folks. We haven't seen the new list yet of terminals yet, so I don't know. Probably will be about March. Be here before we know it.
But yeah, so the service standard you're going to be held to is 98.5 on the express, just like it is 98.5 on your ground. So you will be held to that standard. We saw somebody terminated within 8 weeks of failing on service with this product. So some of the other things, I don't know, like I said, you applied to network 2.0. A lot of it's got to do with Express. And as Jeff said, service, image, and the brand. They're not going to let drivers damage the brand. I can tell you that. That was even preached at the beginning of peak at one of the stations fairly close to where I live. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Terry.
Well, one of the things is if his agreement doesn't end till September, it could be that modifications don't take effect until then, but it also could be, they do other things sometimes, like Schedule Ks and other things. They could come out with something that says effective a certain day, all these things are going to happen. So just watch it. You need to be aware of what's going on, of course. And of course you're aware that they're changing your contract, but it looks like 6/1 is a big day coming this year. So don't be surprised that some of the schedules and things, even though your contract doesn't stand up till the new one doesn't go into effect until after that, just watch it, because some of the things that you sign might go into effect before it actually does.
Okay. Don't see any other questions. We will continue to look out for any announcements on contract changes. Jeff does a really good job of reviewing those and translate FedEx ease into common English. So we'll make sure that we get those out. We did hear of a new addendum yesterday. Don't know enough about it yet. Hopefully we can learn more about this new addendum that's coming out and share that with you. But if you took anything away from the day, please make sure you have tools in place that you can manage your stops per dispatch and that on-time service for these time definites. Those 10:30s and those noons are absolutely critical. As Jeff said, Federal Express was founded on when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. And now it absolutely positively has to be there on time. They're going to hold the CSPs accountable for that. And FedEx wants you to be successful, and you can be very, very successful. These time definites said they're adding 20% more density to your work area. That should increase the chance of profitability, and it definitely will require your drivers to be more productive. It also gives them more challenges, but now you will have a tool with the eTruckbiz Optics app, and your drivers will have the tool if they're using our eRoute. So with that, Jeff or Bob, anything else to add? All right.
Nope.
Okay, so we will be back here next Tuesday at the same time. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your day. Please keep your drivers safe during these tough winter conditions, and have a great, safe, profitable week. Thank you very much.